What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Impact review. This is the last Impact review of the year, as the next 2 weeks they're taking TV off to do a best of show. And it was an eventful Impact. I'm recording this late at night. It's been a bit of a stressful day. This year has, the end of the year, I committed to a schedule of 4 days a week, and my bed broke, and everything just sort of went wrong. I've been trying to record this video. I couldn't record this morning, woke up late. Didn't have a chance to. Until now. It is now 4:30 in the evening. This will probably go up at 8 o'clock now. It's all dark outside. The posters just keep falling off my wall. Basically, it's been a very fucking naff day. But I'm here. I watched Impact. I'm here to review Impact. Here to keep it going. And yeah, let's just crack on with it. So the show opened with Caleb with a K in the ring in a fantastic outfit. It was a salmon pink suit, but it was with shorts, black tie, and he announced Tenille Dashwood. So Tenille came to the ring, and she was wrestling Alicia Edwards, who was accompanied by Eddie. Right at the start of the match, as soon as the bell rung, Tenille pointed up the ramp and shouted Sami. Alicia turned around and she immediately decked her with a forearm and kept the offensive on for quite a while. There was a lot of back and forth. Eventually, Alicia went for the pin, got a tooth fall, and Caleb pulled Tenille out the ring. Alicia went to the top rope, and as she came off, Tenille threw Caleb in the way. And as Eddie was sort of getting into it with Caleb on the outside, as Alicia went to get back into the ring, she was hit with a spotlight kick, and Tenille won the match. After the match, as Caleb and Tenille scarpered, Eddie got in the ring with his wife, and Sami Callihan's ICU graphic hit with the sort of music that plays, and Sami Callihan was up on the screen in a video promo. Sami Callihan said pretty much, you're looking around the arena for me, you want to know where Sami Callihan is. Well, if I'm being honest with you, Eddie, I'm getting tired of this. I'm getting tired of hiding under the ring. I'm getting tired of jumping you. I'm getting tired of being beat up. I'm tired of beating you up. Next year, we end this. And a match has been set up for the first Impact of 2021. Apparently, it's the end of the saga. Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards, I believe, in a no disqualification match. So, yeah, hopefully now with the arrival of Kenny Omega in Impact, which we'll get to later, this might mean the end of the Tommy Dreamer, Jean Shorts and Jordan's character. Don't get me wrong, he's proved he's a fantastic brawler, but Eddie Edwards is, this fantastic technical, like early 2000s to mid 2000s, like Ring of Honor style, like maestro. He proved that years ago with all the stuff he did with in the tag team, and then wrestling Davey, and then wrestling Lashley. But now he's become this sort of, ever since he almost lost his eye to Sami Callihan, he's become this weird Tommy Dreamer-inspired brawler. And if they finally close the chapter on Sami Callihan, maybe I'll go back to the Wolves Eddie Edwards. So, 3 sort of segments overlap here. That was 3, but 3 kind of, intersect on each other. So, first of all, Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne break down the card for tonight, and they talk about, the big word is, they've heard the Kenny Omega's bus is here. Then Gia is interviewing the Motor City Machine Guns, and they go over the 3-step plan. Step 1, take out Triple XL. They did. Step 2, take out the North. Well, the North are falling apart. The North are falling out. Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, they don't trust each other anymore. They're not locking, they're not clicking like they used to. So the North have took out themselves for the Motor City Machine Guns. So step 2, they've bypassed it. And step 3, well, the big LG's not here, so they can't wrestle for the tag titles. But Chris Sabin is wrestling Karl Anderson in the main event tonight. And if he beats him, the Motor City Machine Guns get a shot at the Good Brothers for the tag titles. They cut this brilliant promo, and right at the end, a fantastic line. Chris Sabin goes, Karl Anderson, tonight you're going to find out there's only room for 2 machine guns in Impact Wrestling, and you're looking at them. And then we go to the bus, and Kenny is in the bus, and Kenny, Don, and Karl are all in the bus, and Kenny is wearing like a expensive looking, like detailed pattern, black, flowery, silky looking shirt. He's wearing it open on the bus. Jeans. We later find out he's also wearing a pair of Yeezys, obviously. He's got like a douchey necklace on, a big watch. And he's great. And they're really angry at what the Motor City Machine Guns have said. And Kenny and Don keep going, you're a 2012 G1 finalist. You're going to let him talk to you like that? They keep bringing it up. At one point, Callis calls him the King of Fukuoka, because that was where that G1 final was. They keep referencing it. It's brilliant. But they just say, look, don't let the Machine Guns do that to you. Don't let Chris Sabin say that to you. Tonight, go out there and show Chris Sabin who you are. Show him that you are the Machine Gun. After he tells him that he is the Machine Gun, Karl Anderson gets off the bus and is walking through the backstage, walks past the man, the security guard who does not do his job well, and he runs into Rich Swann. And Swan's like, I heard you saying you were looking for Chris Sabin. What's all that about? And he's like, doesn't concern you, Swan. He's like, nah, but it does. Because you may call him champ, but this is Impact Wrestling, and I'm the Impact Wrestling World Champion. So why don't you tell me why you're looking for the Motor City Machine Guns? And then Karl Anderson goes, well, no, that's any of your business, but I'm going to find them and I'm going to knock them out. At which point the Motor City Machine Guns show up, and as Karl Anderson realises that he doesn't have his friends, he just sort of turns on his heel and says, I'll see you in the ring tonight, Sabin. Moose then comes to the ring and cuts a promo on Willie Mack, and he says Willie Mack is not cleared to compete and he will not be in a ring for another few weeks, but that's okay, because I proved my point. And then Willie Mack's music hits and he walks out, and Willie says, look Moose, I'm not here to fight. I'm not mad at you, I'm not even angry. I understand. The person I'm angry at is the ref. See, I've been fighting my whole life and nobody but me tells me when I can stop fighting. Just because some ref got in between us a couple of times, I didn't tap out. I didn't say that I couldn't continue. They go back and forth, a few more insults are thrown. And at Genesis, they will be wrestling in an I Quit match. So more jabs are thrown. There's a pull-apart brawl. A security guard rips Moose's shirt, trying to throw him off out the way. And Moose just decks him, gets backstage, and cuts a little promo with Gia, talking about how no one puts their hands on the champ. We then find Rohit backstage, and he's very upset that he's lost the X Division Championship, and Chris Bay walks in, seemingly to poke fun at him, and Rohit tells him to leave, and he's like, well, if you want me to leave, that's okay, that's cool, but just know I wasn't coming to make fun of you. I had a plan, but if you don't want to hear me out, that's cool, that's fine, because I won't even mention it, I won't even say what my plan was. So Rohit asks him, and he goes, well, we all know it's TJP under there, and contractually TJP couldn't wrestle for that X Division Championship as long as you were still the champ. So if we can just get out there, unmask him, Impact Wrestling will be forced to hand you back the championship. So Rohit will now be accompanying Chris Bay to the ring for his non-title match with Manic later on tonight. For the second week in a row, we get an AEW paid advertisement with Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone stood there. Tony Khan says, look, Don Callis, you told me, you taught me a lesson. Well, realistically, you didn't. You helped me. I could stop Kenny from coming to Impact, but I don't, because that just gives AEW more free promo. So much more free promo. You're taking him, you're going to Mexico, you're going to Canada, you want to go all over the world with my world champion, and I could stop it, or I could get eyes on All Elite Wrestling. But we have a couple of lessons for you. And then Schiavone takes over and goes, yeah, first of all, lesson number one, where to find Access TV. I googled that, where to find Access TV, and Google just replied, why are you even trying? And then they run down the card for tomorrow night, including the Acclaimed versus SCU. As Tony Schiavone put it, the two greatest wrestlers in Impact history. Well, they're not here anymore, they're over at AEW. I actually turned around to Kazarian the other day and I asked him, Frankie, do you remember when Impact used to have fans that were called TNA and people liked it? And Frankie looked at me and he went, if I'm being honest with you, Tony, no, I do not. So we'll see you with your great stars ever tomorrow night. Another fantastic promo. And this is one thing I touched on a podcast I made with my friend Michael. We go to the same college. We're both on the journalism course for our college student website, which I will link down below to the podcast that we do. We talked about what happened with Tony and Tony last week, and the thing about it is, on Impact, Khan and Schiavone seem like smarmy idiots, like the worst of the worst. And on Impact, even though Don Callis obviously being a slimeball, Scott D'Amore kind of seems like, look, this is good for us. It might not be the best way, but it's good for us. But then, on AEW, everyone that's Impact affiliated seems like the worst person in the world, and everyone AEW affiliated seems like, they're just out here doing the right thing. And it's the layers to these characters that are not so one-dimensional that their perspectives change on each show is fantastic. We now cut to a promo with Eric Young, and this promo appeared 3 times over the course of the night, but we'll just run through it all in one here. So he's in a prison and he's walking around and he was talking about how he used to read stories, happy stories as a child. And then I realised life wasn't like that. There is sickness in life, and sickness cannot be reasoned with. The only thing for sickness is you need to eliminate it. Sickness will take over if you don't fight it. So that's what he's doing with Joe Doring. And we got to the next bit of it, and he's sort of making references to Cody Deaner and everything that happened there. And as we pan out from the interrogation table that he sat at, Cody Deaner is sat there handcuffed to it. And then after it, the third part of the night, as he's there with Cody Deaner and he's talking about the sickness in wrestling and how he took charge of it and he's now eradicated the sickness and he's free. And as we go back, the handcuffs are off. And then we see Cody Deaner being baptised in the holy water of change as Eric Young repeats his mantra, that this world is his, this world is theirs, they will not take it from us anymore, and all the stuff they keep saying, repeating the mantra over and over and over again as he baptizes his new disciple, Cody Deaner. And this is good. I like where they're going with the character now. It didn't make a lot of sense to have him lose the title as a world-class Maniac. Now he's doing a cult leader thing. I like the cult leader thing. I would have preferred to make world-class Maniac on his own, a long title run, but, you know, it is what it is. Knowing what we know now, having, you know, this big, scary bastard character lose to smarmy dickhead heel Kenny Omega would feel weird, or having him beat Kenny Omega is just the outright wrong decision, so I get it. And I like the cult leader stuff, I won't lie. Chris Bay, flat by Row Heat, was wrestling Manic next, and just a very standard match. Towards the end, though, you know, both men wrestling fantastic. One thing I will say about Manic, as much as I don't fucking like TJP, I like how he incorporates new moves that are Manic specific, and he moves different as Manic. That's, you know, total other thing. But towards the end, Manic goes to roll Chris Bay up, and they run out the corner, taking out the ref, and Chris Bay swings his leg back for a low blow and calls on Row Heat. As Row Heat's coming in to remove the mask, the ref catches him, and Chris Bay's going, "Whoa, Rohit, what are you doing? Get out of the ring. I don't need, get out. I'm going to win this match on my own." And he puts his hand in his face and he turns around, and Rohit drops him, giving Chris Bay the win. And as Chris Bay's down selling, he's smiling. As soon as the ref looks back, he's back to selling. So at least we know that this story's going somewhere. The North are backstage having an argument, and Ethan Page goes, "Look, Josh, I know we lost at Final Resolution." And Josh looks at him and goes, "Sorry, I lost at Final Resolution, but I have a plan. You got to trust me." And Josh goes, "Nah, I don't. I've trusted you for so long, Ethan. Just leave. For now, all I need you to do is leave." And then Brian Myers walked through the door, as he always does when something goes wrong, just to be a dick. And he's like, "Josh, you're a tag team specialist, so am I. I won the tag team championships for 82,000 people. Why don't me and you team up?" And Josh goes, "Look, Brian, I was already in a bad mood, but you've made it worse, so why don't we wrestle later on tonight?" The semi-final of the Knockouts Tag Team Tournament was next, as Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz took on Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary. This match was fine, it was standard. Rosemary and Taya looked like they were going to win. Then Deonna and Kimberly came out and started beating up Rosemary on the ramp. And even though you could very clearly hear all this going on, the ref was just looking like, "That's a nice chin lock you've got there. Is that a choke?" "No, it's on the chin, it's not a chokehold." As they're throwing Rosemary onto the steel. Great. This took me out of this match. I was enjoying it until the finish. Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz were able to take advantage of this and won with a roll-up. Backstage, Tasha and Kiera Hogan go to their locker room and they're celebrating, and then Kiera goes, "Tasha, let's get the money out." She goes, "What? I told you a million times, the money, I lost it. I don't know where it is." And then the swingman comes in and he scares them off by being sleazy. And then he picks up the gold fanny pack and he's like, "Gold fanny pack, I could use one of them." Oh, it's this little kayfabe compartment. And now Johnny Swinger has the wad of cash. I love him. I love Johnny Swinger so much. He's so entertaining. He's like wildly entertaining. Josh Alexander was wrestling Brian Myers next. Towards the start of the match, Ethan Page came out. Brian Myers took offence to this, ran out and threw him at the ring post and got back in the ring to brawl with Josh Alexander as the match was sort of going on. Then, both men being fantastic, another few minutes passed. This match didn't go that long, as the Karate Man emerged from behind the ring. Full Karate Man gimmick. Ethan Page, the Karate Man, is here. And he just runs in and he just hits some karate moves on Brian Myers, getting Josh disqualified. And then Josh squares up to him, but he doesn't break out of the Karate Man. It's a totally different persona. He's there just staring at him, ready to karate his tag team partner. And I like this, you know. I don't know what's going on, but I like it. I had a good laugh. Those karate kicks were impressive. Before the main event, then there was a weird segment as AC found Tommy Dreamer backstage, and he's like, "I know Larry wouldn't have done it." He set him up, and Tommy goes, "Well, if you can find the proof, we'll get him out, but for now, leave me alone." And then he walks over, and then there's Rhino and there's cousin Jake, and they're both upset that Eric Young has taken both their tag team partners, and Tommy Dreamer just goes, "Why don't you stop crying about it and wrestle him and Joe Doring in a tag team match?" So that'll probably be the start of the year. Weird filler segment, didn't really justify its existence, but I suppose it was there. Main event time as Karl Anderson took on Chris Sabin. Started off weird. So as entrance were being made, we saw that Kenny and Dom were watching on the bus. Then it cuts to an ad, and we come back from ad, and the match is just in full swing. Chris Sabin never really able to get the upper hand over Karl Anderson, but Sabin keeps on showing flashes. But Anderson, the more experienced wrestler, keeps, dousing the flames, and eventually cheats to win and picks up the victory over Chris Sabin. Then Rich Swann comes out as he's on the apron, or on the ramp, sort of says, you don't need to do this, you're not representing Impact correctly. And then he sort of brushes past them. And then Rich Swann goes to chase him down, and then the machine gun just starts laying into him. Motorcycle machine guns had to save Rich Swann, and then the big LG comes back. And then Kenny comes in, and there's a sort of brawl happening. Kenny smites Rich Swann on the head with like a wet floor sign. And then the match made official by Don Callis pulling the EVP card at Hard to Kill. In the main event, we will have Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, the Bliss Cliz, back together to take on the Motorcycle Machine Guns and Rich Swann. And the show went off the air with Kenny Omega saying goodbye and good night. Then bang, the Machine Guns are there with their guns, and Don Callis doesn't know what to do with his hands. I think he thought it was a too sweet, then realised we were all doing this, who's kind of just going like this. And that's how the show went off the air. And that was last night's Impact, the final Impact for the year. Overall, I thought the show was fairly middling. Good storyline progression. The Chris Bay and Manic match was good, and I liked the finish, even though it was a non-finish. Setting up all the stuff in the new year with Willie and Moose and Sami and Eddie is great. But elsewhere, it was a bit so-so. Whilst I think it's great that Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz have made it to the final of the tournament, the Rev being an idiot really took me out of this match. The stuff with Josh Alexander and Brian Myers I liked, but I like seeing the match going longer. It was weird that the main event started on an ad break. It was just a weird stuff. Overall, I'll give the show a 7. No, I'll give it an 8 actually, but only an 8 because of what it set up. For everything that happened on the night, a 7, but it set up a fantastic pay-per-view main event, and it set up a Willie and Moose and My Quit match, and this first show back looks like it's going to be good. So yeah, that's it for Impact Reviews for the year. I will be back in 2 weeks. For now, I will think of more content. I will try and get the schedule back. Just happening in general. The past few weeks have been wild with my bed breaking and then the new bed arriving and just loads of stuff getting in the way. But hopefully New Year, 2021, I can commit more to this. I have some special content coming that I will announce very soon. But for now, I just got a real temptation to do the goodbye and good night. No, I won't do that. For now, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did and a comment for any other future video ideas as well as some feedback for the video. Share this around to all your friends who like wrestling. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you tomorrow.